Cherry picking auction clearance rates data. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I thought we'd have a look at this article from Domain because frankly it's quite interesting. It's discussing Melbourne's auction clearance rates, that they're high, but the auctions are cherry picked. From Domain, guys. Now if you have a look here on my blog, you can see there's an article that I prepared just looking at the faking of auction clearance rates data or the inherent bias to a positive or higher result just in the methodology they used, even though they have access to the data themselves. This was thanks to the team from Fresh Canvas that did some data mining. Have a look at it if you want to get a bit of an overview of it. A lot of people are quite skeptical about what's being reported here. So I thought, well, guys, we need to have a look at this if it's appearing on Domain, because I was a little shocked. So high clearance rates and low volumes of homes for sale means Melbourne's auction markets look stronger than it is, one expert warns. Just 165, that's not many. Just 165 auctions are scheduled to go ahead on Saturday, slightly up on last weekend. But with the numbers rising in coming weeks, the real test of the market looms. Domain senior research analyst Nicola Powell said the high clearance rates last Saturday, which was revised to 72%, was a result of agents and sellers picking the best homes to go to auction. Now, here's the things. They do revise their clearance rates, but they don't go through and get the data of properties, because they've got, every property has a unique index, and it's called the property's address. So if a property, if a property was meant to go to auction and you receive no data from it, they just treat it like the average of all of the other data they've received. But then they don't bother to cross-check it with the address in the future to update the results. The homes going to auction are cherry-picked because they're most likely to sell, Dr. Powell said. It's the highest clearance rate since February, but the volumes are much lower. It's 100 versus around 1,400. The lower volume of auctions is boosting the clearance rate, and, well, yes, 100%. She said this weekend might be much the same. Maybe we're at the turning point where vendors are being more realistic with their pricing, said Dr. Powell. That could be why last weekend was boosted, because people are pricing for the market, and that could be the same this weekend. True, it could be. It could be. We've started to see in discounting, previous articles we looked at where there was discussion about discounting rates increasing, highest they've been in a long time. And then the discounting rate was reduced because people are understanding, or agents may be denting the expectations of sellers. Ray White, chief auctioneer for Victoria and Tasmania, Matthew Condon, is optimistic about the coming weekend. I'm expecting another high clearance rate, he said. We have 4 auctions Wednesday night and 3 from 4 sold. Mr. Condon said strong interest in listed homes had been a constant since the lockdown was eased. The thing we're noticing, given the shortage of properties, is a high level of demand from buyers, he said. We're still seeing good competition and a high number of registered and active bidders. I think the trend will continue, and I think right now, if anyone is considering selling, it's a good time. So Marshall White director John Bong Inoro agreed. Vendors are dribbling into the market, whereas buyers are swamping the back end, he said. We're genuinely seeing buyers racing ahead. There's so little competition out there for vendors. So it's just a sign of the market that we're seeing here. Built up demand. How long will it last? How many people are interested? Is it just because we've got such artificially low interest rates? Or are people parking their money in property because of what's happening in the market and they want at least some certainty of what's happening there? Mr. Bonginoro said his agents were still doing online and midweek auctions to suit the keen buyers, better able to attend auctions outside of the traditional Saturdays. The way we've been transacting property has changed dramatically, he said. We're doing it to suit the marketplace, and it's quite happy with midweek auctions. Well, that's a good sign. I mean, people and businesses are adapting to the changing environment. I think that's going to flow through to, I'd argue, commercial and retail demands for spaces there, for their sectors, just because consumer habits are changing, working habits are changing, commuting habits are changing. Once you get rid of that commute, guys, to work or to the office, it can free up your whole life more than you can realize. I mean, that's how my YouTube channel has manifested, from me moving the office home and just losing that 1 hour of commute every day. I was talking to another gentleman. It can help people work out. You know, you get that half an hour exercise. Boom, done. So we're starting to see this manifested in another way in property. A lot of people are working from home at the moment. So they're in the suburbs and they're not coming in from the city. Dr. Powell said next weekend would also be quiet because of the Queen's birthday public holiday, but the following would be the weekend to watch. Homes are transacting even though they're at lower volumes, but the 347 scheduled in a fortnight will be a good test, or 347 scheduled in a fortnight will be a good test, she said. The clearance rates has jumped around on what's been fairly similar and low numbers of auctions, so it's hard to tell. Mr. Bonganoro said conditions would not go back to normal for some time and expected July to be busier than usual. I was hoping in June we'd see a lot more auctions, and I think the norm won't apply this July, he said. Traditionally, Melburnians avoid school holiday periods, but this July will be a lot busier. The pace will gather momentum. So interesting. Interesting that not really what I expected in to discuss or critical of the methodology that they used, but just the fact that numbers are so low in property, that numbers are so low, that's going to affect it. Now, we've seen a few interesting articles today that we've looked at. We've looked at, a property crash potentially months away, but calls for more intervention in the market to offset it. We've looked at JobKeeper workers refusing to work. We've looked at predictions that property may bounce back in spring, but then calls to extend JobKeeper, calls for more intervention, public declaration that interest rates will remain at record low levels. And yet we still have consumer confidence, which is really low. We've got job ads, which are down. Foreign investment over a period has just decimated. Our international tourism numbers are gone. Business confidence and conditions are just shattered. And housing affordability and unemployment are still high. If you look at underemployment and unemployment together, we're sitting at 25%. So it definitely is an interesting time. Definitely is to watch property, to see what's happening. I know a lot of people are hoping that there'll be a correction in the property, so they'll get an opportunity to get in. But we'll have to see. I'm thinking there will be so much intervention in the market that they will do whatever they can to keep this bubble going. Will we hit negative interest rates, guys? Could that be a potential next dramatic step? The cash ban, I'm getting mixed messages from people who are saying it's banned or it's out the window, saying it's still going ahead. I haven't seen anything official yet. So I'd say all things are on the table. There's look to extend JobKeeper. Could that evolve into a UBI? I think people would rush to vote for it. They would beg for it. They would line up for it. What do you reckon, everyone? So let me know, as always, your thoughts, opinions, and comments, please, down below. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you'd like to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel via Patreon or YouTube. You can support us via our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. It doesn't cost you anything, and we receive a small commission. You can use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, like the pocket squares you see behind me, or you can support us via PayPal. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you all in the next video.